Blog writing, techniques for B2B readers. Your blog is already part of the sales process. In B2B, prospects read before they reply. Nearly 47% of buyers consume 3 to 5 pieces of content before they'll engage a sales rep, which means your blog is often the first conversation they have with you. The problem is that many B2B posts still sound like product brochures, vague, feature-heavy, and written for everyone. Busy VPs and directors don't have time to decode what you do, and your SDRs can't confidently send an article that reads like a press release. In this guide, we'll focus on practical blog writing techniques for B2B readers, how to pick topics that match real-deal questions, structure posts for scanners, and connect content to Outbound so your blog supports qualification, objections, and booked meetings, not just page views. Why B2B blog writing moves revenue when it's done right. B2B buyers self-educate, and blogs are a core part of that journey. Roughly 71% of B2B buyers read blog content as they evaluate solutions. If your content doesn't answer the questions they're already researching, you're forcing your team to create context from scratch in cold email and cold calling. The upside is measurable. Companies with active blogs see around 55% plus more website traffic, and B2B organizations that blog generate about 67% more leads per month than those that don't. More importantly, that traffic becomes useful when it's aligned to commercial intent and routed into a sales motion your team can execute. A strong blog reduces friction across the funnel. It pre-handles objections, gives champions language to sell internally, and creates air cover for outbound from your SDR agency or in-house team. When prospects recognize your point of view from a post, outreach feels less like interruption and more like continuation. Write for a buying committee, not a generic persona. Most B2B deals are committee decisions, so your post needs a primary reader and secondary stakeholders. We recommend starting every outline by naming one accountable role, for example, VP of Sales or RevOps, and then explicitly addressing what finance, IT, and ops will challenge: risk, security, implementation effort, and measurable ROI. The fastest way to choose topics is to mine real conversations. Interview your top SDRs and AEs, pull the top 10 objections that stall deals, and convert each into a blog that gives a clear stance plus proof, benchmarks, examples, and a practical what to do next. This is where most teams fail. They publish what sounds interesting internally instead of what buyers repeatedly ask. To keep posts stage appropriate, map each topic to the buyer's journey and match the CTA to intent. Otherwise, you'll push book a demo when the reader is still diagnosing the problem. A simple stage map keeps your blog from becoming a random pile of articles and turns it into a path your outbound sales agency can reference consistently. Build an SEO system. Topic clusters, not one-off posts. In B2B SEO, the goal isn't to chase the biggest keywords, it's to capture intent that leads to high-quality conversations. Problem-focused, long-tail queries, for example, when to outsource SDR team or how to improve cold email reply rates, are often lower volume but much closer to a buying decision, which is exactly where your content should compete. A practical approach is a keyword cluster around one core ICP pane, supported by 4 to 6 interlinked articles and one pillar page that ties everything together. This structure makes internal linking feel natural, improves crawl paths, and helps readers move from "what is this problem" to "which approach fits us" without hitting a dead end. Length matters, but only when it's earned. Many studies show top-performing search articles often land in the 1,500 to 2,500 word range, with top results averaging roughly 1,400 to 2,100 words depending on niche. And long-form content of 2,000 plus words can generate about 55% more inbound leads than short posts. The common mistake is padding. The winning move is depth, business impact, process, people, tooling, and what could go wrong in one place. Write like the reader is deciding whether to give you 30 seconds or 30 minutes. Your job is to earn the next scroll with every paragraph. Structure posts for scanners: clear, fast, and opinionated. B2B readers are usually multitasking, so your first few sentences should do three things: name the situation, highlight the cost of staying stuck, and promise a specific outcome. If you start with generic marketing throat clearing, you'll lose the VP who could have forwarded your post to the buying committee. Make your writing easy to absorb without oversimplifying. Use short paragraphs, plain language, and strong transitions, and be willing to take a position. Here's when sales outsourcing is the right move and when it isn't. That tone is what turns a blog from nice content into something an AE will confidently send during a deal cycle. On-page basics still matter, but don't become robotic about them. Keep titles tight, describe the outcome in the meta description, and ensure your headings match the query's intent so the core answer appears early. A post that respects time wins twice: better engagement signals for SEO and better comprehension for the reader who will bring it into internal conversations. Treat every blog post like a sales enablement asset. If your SDRs can't name 3 posts they regularly send, your content isn't integrated into your motion. The fix is operational. For each flagship post, create reusable snippets for cold email follow-ups, a short call talk track, and a "send this if they ask X" note so the article becomes part of your outbound sales agency playbook. This is where content and outbound reinforce each other. A well-timed article can make cold calling services feel consultative. We published a breakdown of in-house versus outsourced sales team trade-offs. Want the link? And help a cold email agency campaign avoid generic claims by anchoring messaging in practical guidance. We also recommend aligning topics with the exact prospects you're targeting. When your blog cluster is built around the same pain your list building and outreach teams are prospecting into, the result is cleaner targeting, higher relevancy, and fewer "not interested" replies. That's how blog traffic becomes booked meetings instead of anonymous readership. Avoid common mistakes and measure what actually matters. Most B2B blogs fail for predictable reasons. Topics are too broad, CTAs don't match intent, and posts never get refreshed. Another quiet killer is inconsistency. Yet blogs remain a mainstream channel with about 84% of B2B marketers using corporate blogs, so you're competing against teams that publish, optimize, and iterate. Measurement is the difference between content as a hobby and content as a revenue lever. Traffic and rankings are useful leading indicators, but you also need engagement, time on page and scroll depth, sales usage, which posts get sent, and revenue influence, assisted opportunities, and meetings sourced. When you review these monthly with sales leadership, you stop guessing and start doubling down. Refreshing content is often the highest ROI move because you're improving something that already has visibility. Audit your top legacy posts, update stats and examples, improve internal linking, and tighten the CTA. The compounding effect is real, especially when businesses with blogs can have about 434% more indexed pages. More surface area means more chances to capture intent. Next steps: a simple plan to turn content into conversations. If you want a fast, practical starting point, build your next 10 posts directly from sales objections and buyer questions. Then create one keyword cluster around a single core problem your ICP is actively researching, and standardize a template so every post delivers the answer quickly, then earns deeper reading with proof and examples. From there, operationalize repurposing. Every flagship post becomes an outbound kit with an SDR-ready sequence, a call track, and role-based messaging variations. This step is where most teams leave revenue on the table because content stays inside marketing while SDRs keep reinventing messaging on every account. At SalesHive, we built our process around closing that gap between content and booked meetings. Since 2016, we've booked 100,000 plus meetings for 1,500 plus B2B clients by combining specialized SDR teams with an AI-powered outreach platform. So the right blog doesn't just rank, it gets used in cold email, qualification, and follow-up across a scalable sales outsourcing motion. When your blog starts attracting the right visitors, we help ensure they don't just read and vanish, they get into real conversations,